Autumn is in full swing here in Finland, and nature is showcasing its colors. Burning reds, glowing yellows, and warm oranges. But how do we describe these colors across different languages? Today we will explore how Gorwaa, Hausa and Swahili express color. Let's dive in. First, let's look at Gorwaa, which is spoken in Tanzania. I've talked about this language several times already on this channel, and I will link those videos below. Let's look at one specific strategy that is well known in linguistics and that can be used for different purposes. It's called reduplication. Let's see, for example, the word for white, awako. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the pronunciation and I will do so multiple times. I'm so sorry. Even though there is IPA for these examples and I've read them, I still get nervous while recording, so I mispronounce them, probably. Either way, for the word white, if we want to talk about something that is white-ish, we just need to reduplicate one part of this word, as you can see here. Not all forms follow the same pattern or strictly follow the same structure, such as for the word red, da'at. If we want to make reddish, we have darat. So sometimes we use this strategy of reduplication for attenuation in adjectives such as somewhat grey or greyish, bucha buch, coming from the word for grey, buch. And in this language there's also one word only for the two colors blue and green, which happens quite often, so not all languages distinguish colors in the same way. And so what in English might be blue or green, in other languages it might be called with one word only, but the same goes the other way around. Maybe in another episode we might focus on the range of colors and how languages behave differently and which are the main colors for each language. But let's get back to our list now. So we mentioned Gorwaa. Now let's look at Hausa, because for shades of hue or degrees of brightness within a certain color category, they use a different strategy, which is analogy. And here I have no clue how to pronounce this, but let's say that is Yamai Farin Rua, which literally means red owner of white water. And this expression stands for pink, the color pink, which is in fact a shade of red and white. But they also adopt reduplication for other cases, such as kore kore to say light green. But they also use ideophones sometimes, such as farifa, very white, literally, but meaning snow white. And talking about the degree of intensity of certain colors, let's look at Swahili, in which we have mweupepe, very white, and mweupepe, excessive whiteness. And in Swahili, the form for white is eupe. And since this is a Bantu language, you add a prefix, which is why you heard mweupe. And so it's interesting how ideophones in this case have specific applications to the sensory world. So what you're expressing here is the emotional experience of that color. This is true for Hausa and Swahili, but the term for white is associated with positivity, whereas black is associated with negativity, its counterpart. And so when we're talking about positive emotions, in Swahili, there's this expression of moyo mweupe, literally white heart. Whereas if you're talking about a selfish person who is bad, then you'll say roho nyeusi, literally black soul. And this is true, this type of use, for Italian as well. But maybe I will make another episode talking about Italian examples, because being a native, I have plenty. But this specific association of white and black with positivity and negativity can be found in Italian as well. What about English? Is there any example that comes to mind? Write it in the comments. The ways in which languages express colors are fascinating, and there's so much that could be said, such as the origin, so the etymology of the names given to colors. Why are they called like that. Sometimes, for instance, in Swahili, you will find loanwords, which are words coming from other languages, imported, let's say, which might sound less interesting for that reason, because they don't belong, let's say, to the language, but they might turn to be interesting if you look at the reasons why that language, that population adopted that word or replaced the original word from their language with a loanword. Then there are so many more strategies. Here we just mentioned a couple, but if you want to look at the grammar, if you're curious about that, there's so much you can explore. And what I also find interesting is the semantics, so the meaning, but also in the end the usage, which is why I mentioned a couple of expressions here. And perhaps in a future episode I might talk about the way in which our bodies perceive the world and how that affects the terminology, the vocabulary, the grammar that we use. And this is true for colors as well, so there's so much variation, and this was just an intro into colors in linguistics. Let me know if you're curious, if you want to know more. It's intriguing how colors reflect cultural interpretations and emotions. Next time you admire the change in leaves, consider how people speaking different languages might describe them. What words or expressions would they choose? And do they see colors the same way you do? If you enjoyed this video, please share it with someone else. Leave a comment, a like, because these tiny actions help me immensely. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.